Well, hello and welcome to another video. It's set to be an exciting one, this one. I've had an idea for a while with my YouTube channel to do me versus other YouTube channels. And I've not really had time to get around to sorting it out, but then out the blue the other day, I got a phone call from Ed Betteridge at Carpology, and he asked me if I wanted to go up and do me versus Joe from Carpology. So that's what this video is going to be. I've just finished my ferry journey over from the Isle of Wight, and I'm just about to get off and drive up to Woodside Lakes, which is in Wiltshire, I believe. And I've got 24 hours. It's a very short session, meeting Joe from Carpology, and it's going to be me versus him. So it's quite an exciting one. Joe's a very good angler. I've fished with him before on the YouTube Bloggers Social, and he did very well on that match. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on. But I'm hoping that this video is going to be the start of quite a few videos like this for me on my channel, fishing against other people, because I think that'll be interesting. Rather than just your normal session, it's going to be the sort of tactics and tips to try and fish against someone else and to try and win. So yeah, I'm really excited. If you like the sound of those types of videos, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try and do a few more of these. I'm going to line up a few people to fish against over the next few months, so keep an eye on my channel for that, guys. So we're going to get on the road now, and I'll talk to you when we get to the lake. It was a stunning day with barely a cloud in the sky. After my ferry crossing, I had about an hour and a half's drive to Woodside Fishery, where I was greeted with a stunning little lake. Right guys, as you can see, got the lake behind me there. Beautiful little place. I think it's about 4 acres or something like that, and there's 6 swims, and you only fish off one bank, so you've got the whole sort of far margin that you can fish. But I've met with Joe now, and we sort of know where we're going to be, but we're not sure exactly which swim. We're going to do a draw in a minute, but I'm just going to grab the rest of my gear, get in the swim, and then we'll start setting up. So here we are at Woodside Fishery, and this is the man himself, Joe from Carpology.
Afternoon, or whenever you're watching it. Morning.
Yeah. So we've already done the draw, and
We have.
Joe won the draw. So I've got this side of the swim, and Joe's on that side. So Joe's got the nice open water with sunken island, a million different options, and I've got a tiny little poke hole. So
Yeah.
already I'm feeling like it's a little bit unfair, but we'll see how it goes.
Luck of the draw.
Yeah,
Exact
absolutely.
definition
Mate,
of
yeah.
it.
So yeah, we're going to get cracking, get our gear sorted, and yeah, I'll catch up to you in a bit with some tactics and stuff. Hopefully we'll have a few fish. Right guys, so I'm in my swim now, and I've already had a little lead around, just trying to find, you know, sort of what the bottom's like really, and it is pretty clear everywhere. Speaking to the owner, it's just a clay-lined lake really. So I've got my marker float there. I'm just going to flick it along that far margin and see if I can find out the depth. Obviously I don't want to be fishing in 6 inches of water, especially with the coots and stuff that's on here, so I'm going to try and find where that shelf drops down and then fish 2 rods over there along their patrol route, and then the other rod I might just put down my margins. Right guys, as always, I'm not particularly prepared for this session, so I'm just tying up some of my favourite little Amnesia D-rigs, because they're nice and easy to tie, nice and quick, and they've been very successful for me so far this year, so why change what works? So yeah, I'm just going to tie up 5 or 6 of them. If you want to see how to tie this rig, I have done a video on it on my channel, so go check that out. But yeah, I'm going to fish little D-rigs with a wafter, I think, and just fish it over pellet and a bit of boilie crumb and that sort of thing. Seems to work on most day ticket lakes that you go to, so we'll give that a go and see how we get on. Right guys, so as you might see down here, my swim is absolute carnage. It's taken me quite a while to get all the rods sorted, but we are now fishing. I've got 3 rods out. My left-hand rod's going over to the point on the far side over there, just a little wafter with some boilie crumb and pellets. And then further along over that way, there's some reeds. I've got my right-hand rod over to there. Similar tactics to the other one, just a little D-rig with a little wafter and some bits and bobs over the top really, just boilie crumb and pellet. And then my middle rod currently is just on a zig because there's been quite a lot of fish cruising up and down. Joe's actually been firing mixers. He's next door to me over there. Yeah, no joy on the mixers, but he's determined to get them going, I think. So, and I think there has been a couple taking the odd mixer, so he may just be able to nick a fish, but I'm going to stick with it on the bottom and with a zig for now, and then I might put that zig rod out on the bottom for tonight, because it is only a shallow lake, you know, it's 4 foot. So even if you're, you know, on the bottom in 4 foot, you're not far away from the fish if they swim over the top. So that's what we're doing so far. I'll update you with a bit more detail on my rigs and bait mix and everything later on, or tomorrow morning or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to have a tidy up, get my bivvy up and get everything sorted, and then yeah, hopefully we'll have a few fish before it gets dark, but you never know. Right, so finally got all sorted, got my bivvy up, as you can hopefully see behind me there, and all 3 rods are out. And we've had a little tidy up, so everything's all right in the world again. It's been absolutely sweltering today, and the fish have just been cruising on the top, not interested in anything. Joe's been trying on the surface for them. He's had a couple of fish taken really tentatively, but as soon as he puts the rig out, they seem to be shying away from it. So I've not bothered with that tactic. The owner did say that the surface wasn't the one on here really, and I figured with the bird life and stuff as well, I might get into problems. So I've got one out on a zig, kind of mid-water, because I've seen a few fish cruising by there. And then my other 2 rods are on the far margin. The fish seem to have sort of moved out. They were in my sort of bay. You might sort of see behind me here, there's a bit of a bay, and there was quite a few fish in there earlier on when we got here. But they seem to have moved out now, and a lot of them seem to be out in front of Joe in the open water there. There's a bit of a sunken island apparently, and the water comes up to kind of 2 foot on top of that. And because it's hot, obviously the fish are near the surface and they're quite enjoying being in that area. So, you know, Joe's got quite a few fish there, which is keeping busy with the floaters, but unfortunately they're not taking them at the moment properly. But yeah, I've not really seen a lot of fish in my area for the last hour or so. So I'm just going to have to keep watching and seeing what I can see. And I'm probably going to bait a spot in my right-hand margin for later or tomorrow morning. So at least it gives me another option if I'm not catching on my spots that I've been fishing. So that's where we're up to now. Probably update you before it gets dark. It's actually the longest day of the year, so it should be light until gone 10 tonight. So there's plenty of time to see what we're doing, which is nice. And yeah, we'll have to see what the rest of the day brings. Well, as you can see, the floaters have paid off for Joe, giving him an early lead and a surface caught PB. Right, so we're coming into the evening now. It's just cooling off. It's been absolutely scorching today, guys. It must have been maybe 25, 26 degrees, something like that. But now the sun is going down behind the trees on the far side and it's just cooling off. It's still quite warm though, to be honest. It looks like we might have some stars out tonight. It's quite a clear sky. On the fishing front, it's been quiet for me, unfortunately. Joe's had that one fish off the top and he did actually lose one a little while ago as well. So it seems like the surface fishing is paying off. Although I haven't got fish out in front of me really. So there's no point me really firing floaters out there. So I've just stuck to my guns and got the rods out on the bottom. The one that I did have on a zig, I've now put on that far reed line as well. Minimal bait, you know, just a tiny little patch of pellets and boilie chops and crumb really, and a little wafter in amongst it. And yeah, I'm just hoping for the best now really. Hopefully the fish get their heads down when as the temperatures drop in this evening. Might have a chance for a fish or two through the night and maybe early morning before it gets hot again. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I have time for some dinner, I think. I'm not really eating anything all day today. And yeah, I'm starting to feel the effects of the heat from today as well. So it'd be nice to have some dinner and get rehydrated and energised, ready for hopefully a few fish in the night, but you just never know. But yeah, so in the morning, I will take you through my sort of rigs and I'll show you my bait mix and stuff so you kind of know how I've been fishing on this session. And I'll point out the spots a little bit more in detail for you as well so you kind of know where I've been fishing. And obviously I'll keep you updated if anything happens on the fish front through the night or in the morning. We'll obviously show you those fish. But for now it's definitely chill time. Watch the sunset, I think it's going to be beautiful. And hopefully, yeah, something's going to happen for us. Well, as you can see behind me, it's an absolutely stunning morning. Got mist rising off the lake and a nice sunrise over there, which might be a bit blown out, but you get the idea. Unfortunately, these three rods down here have done nothing in the night. I just don't think the fish are really feeding particularly hard, and I don't think they're particularly in my swim either. I'm not really seeing many shows. They all seem to be out in front of Joe. In this open water out here, there's a whole load of open water, but there's a sunken island out here, and the fish have all been on top of that, and that's where he was surface fishing yesterday and managed a couple of bites, but lost one unfortunately. But the fish have still been out there this morning and they've been sort of showing over his rods, but not really picking them up. But then he has just had one this morning. You'll see there's a net there. But that was in the left-hand margin, round in a little bay to his left. So we'll get that one out in a minute and have a look at it. But it is very early, it's about 4:30 now, so there is plenty of time still. But I am starting to get a little bit nervous that nothing's happened on my rods. I've just stuck to my guns really and fished minimal tactics because I don't think the fish are really having it, so there's no point stoving in a load of bait. But yeah, nothing's happened, so I think I've just got to be patient, really. I don't want to sort of start chasing the fish around, you know, crashing leads in and spreading my bait around as well. I think just having my little patches that I've just put a tiny bit out on and fishing for a bite really is probably the best way to go. So yeah, I'm going to have a coffee now and keep watching the water and see anything might give itself away. And yeah, keep our fingers crossed that something's going to happen in this early morning sort of bite period. Another stunning fish for Joe took his lead to over £35, showing being in the right swim really makes all the difference. Right guys, so as I'm sat here not catching very much, I've got plenty of time to talk you through tactics for this session. I think the thing that's gone against me really has just been the conditions. You know, we had a really hot day yesterday and then clear sky last night, and quite damp in the air, and that often spells difficult fishing. And now again the sun's come out and it's really, really hot again. So you know, I'm blaming the conditions at the moment. I don't think the tactics are to blame, really. I'm just fishing minimal tactics, really, with a little bit of bait and just hoping to nick a bite. So I thought I'd just show you the rig and everything, just so you know what I'm doing. So once again, as you've seen in quite a few of my recent videos, I've been using my little Amnesia D-rig. Very easy to tie, probably the easiest rig to tie that you can do, to be honest with you. I've got a video on how to tie this one on my channel if you want to go check that one out. But basically it's a knotless knot with some 20-pound Amnesia to a size 5 chod style hook. A hook ring swivel goes on the tag end and then that pokes back through, and then you just blob it to form a D, and then a little blob of putty in the middle just to help keep it pinned down and to help drop the hook in the fish's mouth when it picks up the bait. Now the bait I've got on there is an SS1 pink wafter. These are absolutely perfect for fishing over little bits and pieces. I've got boilie crumb out there, small pellets, a few whole boilies as well, just to keep the fish interested really, and a little bit of sweet corn in the mix just for a fleck of colour. And then that little bit of pink I think matches quite nicely with the Amino Marine boilies that I'm using, because they're a sort of a red colour and they kind of wash out to a sort of a pale sort of pinkish red. So that just stands out a little bit without being sort of too alarming to the fish. And that little bit of buoyancy just kicks it up like that off the hook, and means that when the fish picks it up it flies into the mouth and the hook drops down like that, and they've only got to move a little way to get hooked on that chod hook there. So it's a brilliant little setup for fishing over bits and pieces. And I'm barely putting any bait out at all. I'm using my bait boat because it's nice and accurate and you can get a small patch of bait out without too much disturbance. And I'm only really putting maybe like a couple of palmfuls of the bait mix out with this rig. And then onto there, I'm literally just hooking on a little mesh bag of the micro-amino pellets from Pure Bait Concepts. There's a couple of different sizes and different types of pellets in there, so you get different breakdowns and different attraction properties. So that's just getting hooked onto the rig, just to make sure you've got something around it really. And that's just going out like that with the bait boat and a little bit of bait. So that's all I've been doing on this session so far. Unfortunately, it hasn't paid off yet, as you will know if you've been watching the video. But it's still fairly early in the day. I think it's about 8-9 o'clock now, but it has got really hot. So I feel like that bite time's slipping away, but the owner says that bites can come at any time really, and even when it's hot sometimes the fish can be feeding. So we've got to kind of stick to our guns and hope that a fish is going to come along and find those little patches of bait. I'm just fishing 3 rods on the far margins over to the reeds and stuff, so yeah, it's a bit of a patrol route over there, and the sun's going to be hitting it pretty soon, so it's a nice sort of warm area for them to get a bit of comfort over there. So I'll talk you through the spots in a minute, and then I will just quickly show you the bait mix as well, so you know what I'm putting out with it. And then, yeah, we just got to sit on our hands for the rest of the session and hope that something comes along. Right guys, so the spots I'm fishing, this is my swim here. It's only about 30 yards or 40 yards over to the far side there. And I've got a nice patrol route, sort of reed line over there, where the fish are going to be swimming up and down, hopefully. So I've got all 3 rods over there. My right hand rod is going over to just here, where the fish are going to come along the margin, then sort of swim out to go around these reeds. I've got a nice little shallow area around there, which is quite hard. So I've got my right hand rod there. My middle rod is going just to the end of these reeds over here. There's a bit of a, looks like a gap behind them, so I've sort of gone just level with the end of them there. Hopefully if the fish are coming in and out there, they'll find that one. And then the third one is just over here to the point. Again, when they're swimming along the margin, they've kind of got to go around that point. I feel like when you get a point, the fish normally go quite close to it. As opposed to, you know, they might sort of go out into open water over here, but they've got that point to sort of swim around. So I've got that one there, and all of them are, you know, sort of 6 foot off the bank, because it was really, really shallow when I was plumbing around, probably like 1.5 foot or something, and there's quite a lot of coots and ducks and other stuff on this lake, so I figured I wanted to be in slightly deeper water, so I've come down off the shelf into sort of 3 or 4 foot, and all 3 rods are in the same sort of depth, I think, but if I don't get anything in the next couple of hours, I might move them up onto the shelf, as it is hot and we've got high pressure, so they may well be getting in that shallow water. And I might just fish bags without any bait around it, so that I'm not attracting the birds in, and it might give me a chance to nick a bite before the end of the session. So if you stay tuned a second, I'm just going to talk you through the bait mix that I'm using. Right guys, so this is the bait mix that I've been using on this session. As you can see, there's amino marine boilies in there, which I've kind of crumbed up with my fingers, and left a few sort of halves and whole ones in there as well. And I've got some Himalayan rock salt in there as well, because the fish have recently spawned and I think they're sort of looking to replace their salt. Any sort of time of year, salt is a good bait. In the spring when they're getting ready for spawning is good, but also after that as well, they're kind of looking to replenish their salts that they've lost through spawning, so a bit of salt in there, not too much, but just enough to kind of get a bit of a halo around the bait. Then I've got some different pellets in there, some bigger ones and some smaller ones, and then a few bits of sweet corn. And then I've added to that a little bit of salmon oil and a little bit of pure marine extract as well, which is like a really sort of salty, pure crustacean extract. So it adds a really nice kind of extra level of attraction, which kind of seeps out along the lake bed, and then the oil is rising up to the surface as well to pull the fish down. So you've got different sort of levels of attraction there. And I feel like on any lake that would be a good mix at any time of year. Well, maybe not in the winter, but particularly in the warmer months, that's a good sort of grubbing mix for the fish to get grubbing around on. And then with that little wafter just sitting above it, it's just perfect really to hopefully nick a bite. Once again, Joe is away on the floaters, and I would now need a miracle to turn this match around. going to have to apologise for the lack of filming over the sort of last part of this session. It's been absolutely baking hot again today and really, really bright, so it makes filming hard work. And I've been trying all sorts to get a bite, and you know, I didn't feel like filming it whilst I wasn't really catching. I even went onto the Match Lake earlier with my floater rod to try and just get a consolation fish, but unfortunately the swans put pay to that idea as well. So my rods are still out, but it is looking like a blank is on the cards. But
Your head's fried, isn't it, really?
Hey?
Your head's fried, really.
Yeah, my head's fried, my body's fried.
Yes.
Yeah, my skin is pretty blistered, I think.
Look like one of those drumsticks.
Yeah, like an Aussie tan. But yeah, so Joe's had 3 fish. Well done, mate. Good
Thank you very
skills. It seems like you've won this one. I think the fact that you went against the grain and fished on the surface when he said, the owner said it wouldn't work, has paid off.
I took that as a challenge. I'm quite stubborn when it comes to my fishing, especially with surface fishing. And I thought the weather's perfect for it. It's perfect floater fishing weather, so I don't care what other people have done before. I'm going to stick at it, and I'm glad I did, because obviously I lost one, but 3 bites off the top.
It just shows you, you know, being different. If someone says pop-ups don't work, then fish all 3 rods on pop-ups. You know, if someone says zigs don't work, then try that, and you might be the person that makes that the going tactic on the lake. So probably going to see more people surface fishing on here now, I would think. But yeah, I tried that myself, but I couldn't really get the fish going. I didn't have the sort of numbers and fish in front of me. Barely seen a fish really in my water,
Yeah,
to
it's
be
just
honest.
area-wise. I think it was all down to the lens flip at the start.
Yeah.
And like we said on the outro on mine as well, it's just, if I was in this swim, I'm sure I'd have been in the same boat.
Yeah.
You can only catch what's in front of you, and they were held up there. And last night they went down to that bowl.
I think they came back this morning because you had that one on the bottom.
Yes.
And then they've been back out here again, and you've managed to nick another one off the top. So seems like they sort of pushed down there for the night and then sort of drifted back over, but they haven't come as far as this, unfortunately. There's been maybe 2 fish in the bay to my right. Tried a few floaters for them, but they didn't want to know.
Yes, just night and day, isn't it, between the ends of the lake?
Does seem to be, but you know, if we had a southwesterly blowing, it might have brought them in here. It might have been a different story. So it is what it is. I'm blaming the conditions. Obviously, Joe's angling had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's been a grueler. I think on a different day we would have both had plenty more.
Yeah, apparently it fishes well normally. Most people have a few fish, don't they? But he did say it can be tricky at times as well. So it's just one of those things. I'll probably come back again. I do like the place. It's nice and out in the sticks, nice and quiet as well. And the owner's a nice bloke as well, isn't he? So.
Yes, lovely. So big thanks to Rich for having us on.
Absolutely.
It was very last minute I booked this.
Yeah.
As in probably
like the day before.
The day before, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Sorry I didn't have more fish to show you, but you've seen Joe's fish, so you know, what more do you want? But yeah, thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified of any future uploads. And if there's any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
I won't, but also I'll plug Carpology's version of this trip. If you haven't subscribed to us already, do go over there, because this will be going up probably around the same sort of time as this one, I'm guessing. Yeah. Depends who edits fastest and gets their video approved.
We'll try and coincide them, I suppose.
Definitely. Cheers for having me on as well.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on one of your sessions. Yeah.
You'll get redemption one day.
Cheers, guys. Cool.